5, here we go.
Hi, this is Erin Gray, live from the MSU School of Journalism, my first election. I'm sitting here with international graduate student Petulano Ali. How are you this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Petulano is from Cameroon in Central Africa. He is a MasterCard Foundation graduate scholar specializing in international journalism. Back in Cameroon, Petulano earned his degree in journalism and worked 3 years as an editor for Campus Media and as a freelancer. So, Petulano, how long have you been in America?
So I moved here in August 2015. I've been exactly 1 year and a few months.
Okay, awesome. And how would you describe your hometown culturally and politically?
We are people so tied to our customs and traditions, and talking about the political side of it, we are people so stick to the British culture because Cameroon has a bicultural colonial past colonized by Britain and France. So I'm from one of the minority English-speaking regions of Cameroon. So we tend to do things more like the British than the French because there's just two parts and one part, which is the majority, acts like the French and another acts like the British.
You say the level of democracy is different in Cameroon from in the U.S. Can you explain this?
When you think about democracy, first thing you think about is free speech. It's a very big tenet of democracy. In Cameroon, there's not as much free speech as you would see here in the US, especially when it comes to something like elections. You don't hear people have the right or are free to talk about elections the way I see Americans and foreigners like me in America talk about elections here. So it's very different because we've only had two presidents since independence. That's in 1960. There was Amadou Ahidjo, and there is one President Paul Biya who's been there for the past 35 years. Now, you see, this is different. If it were democratic, you would see that 50 years or to 60 years after independence, we would not have only two presidents. And the process of electing presidents in Cameroon is much more complicated because you don't know if we're actually operating what is called democracy. Sometimes I say it's a democracy because it's a mix of, well, some of the tenets of democracy because they allow many different people to run for elections. But then what happens at the end, you hear rumors of elections being rigged, or sometimes you even see clear evidence. So this makes the democracy very complicated and different from what I see here in America.
How does the election process and campaigning differ in each country, or both countries?
Sure. When you think about elections in Cameroon, you're thinking about 30 candidates coming together and vying for one position, that of being the president of the country. But when you think about elections here, you're thinking first about, well, the major parties sending their candidates, they go through the primaries, they have debates, they have town halls, they have forums where they get to talk about their policies to the people, to the electorate. But in Cameroon, it's different. You have 30 different candidates, 30 different political parties vying for one position, and the electorate don't get to see the candidates, don't get to hear from them. And here you see that the campaigns have been running for the past 1 year, almost 1 year and months now. And in Cameroon, this is very different because we only have campaigns 2 weeks to elections. Imagine you as a presidential candidate and starting your campaign 2 weeks before the elections, 2 weeks to the elections, and there are 30 of you. When do you have time, for example, to tell the people why you want to become president, what you have in stock for them when you become president? They do let them put posters, share handbills, share manifestos, but this is not enough because from a manifesto, I cannot know how much I have known, for example, from Donald Trump, from Clinton. When I hear them debate, when I see them on stage talk about their policies and different things that they're going to do when they are president. So we don't have this in Cameroon. We only have, well, a cloud of candidates come and say, I want to be president. Now these are handbills, vote for me. Sometimes, I remember myself voting twice without ever knowing who I'm voting for. So it's very different.
Okay, and what do the people in your hometown think of the candidates this year in America?
I mean, it's very complicated as it has been. Like I think it has been here in America. That's the same way. Because I've spoken to a couple of people, especially journalists in Cameroon, and they would tell me, "Oh my, I think this year in America we have an extraordinary elections. I've never seen a candidate, for example, like Donald Trump. Here we are with two candidates, one who has flaws that everybody thinks, well, she's so bad, but she has expertise, and one who is a total stranger in the political arena, at least in the political arena, but knows some stuff, a business tycoon and wants to be president." And the kind of divisive rhetoric that has characterized the elections, the campaigns this year, I mean, that creates an image in the minds of many Cameroonians that I've spoken to. They tell me, I don't imagine America having a candidate that thinks the way Donald Trump, for example, thinks. I don't imagine America having a candidate, a president that is not as clear and straightforward, because they see Hillary Clinton as not clear and straightforward, as hiding stuff and not responding, for example, to questions and responding to issues that concern her campaign and stuff like that. So I think it's a perception of, well, there are two people in America who want to be president. All of them are bad, but there is one person who is worse than the other, and they see that person as Donald Trump. So they tend to be supportive of the ideas of Clinton more than Donald Trump.
Okay. Would you say that people in your country don't like Donald Trump's views, or you said they get offended by some things he says?
It's difficult to say if they don't like, because I mean, like I said, I've spoken to a couple of journalists, and they tell me, well, inasmuch as I think that Donald Trump has ideas that are so divisive, he has good ideas. So it's hard to say if they completely don't like him or if they totally like him. I mean, we don't totally like somebody, or we don't completely hate somebody. There's some aspects of him that, well, they would say, yes, I think this can work. I think this can work. So it's about which of them works more. And when you weigh the two, they see that, no, this does not work more than it works for Clinton.
Okay. And if you were to vote, which candidate would you choose and why?
That's a hard question, saying if I were to vote, which candidate will I choose? Well, I think being an international student here in America, I have come to learn a lot about American politics, about the different things. I would vote for Hillary Clinton, not because I think if I were an American, I will actually vote for her because she has good policies that will move America to the next level, to where America wants to be, but because I think that here is a candidate who is not all that good, but has ideas that is about bringing people together. I mean, what I think about her opponent is, well, you don't want us to be together. For example, immigration. I mean, I'll be inclined to vote for Hillary Clinton because she wants people to come into America, which is what I advocate for so much. So I would definitely vote for her, not because she has very good ideas, but because she is better than some other candidate.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today. This is Erin Gray with My First Election at MSU.
Thank you.